Haha! Gotcha! I started recording without the sound, but it's all fixed, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm not gonna restart again. We will just take it from here. Hello to the chicos and the chicas. I was saying that we are going to do our rush toward 1800, but of course that number is known to come after the 1700, so that's the hurdle we would like to overcome first. And ironically, this position I was saying that, well, this can still be a Ragozine or a Semislav or a Queen's Gambit declined. And then sure enough, my opponent plays c5, thus entering the Tarash. So now we are headed towards an IQP, which a lot of club level players dread for absolutely zero reason, none whatsoever. I've got about 400 videos on my YouTube channel about why the IQP in fact is a pawn structure that we should warmly embrace. Play with it, play against it. It is something that you want to master. Can't think of a single world champion who didn't play IQP structures, and there is a good reason for this, because it is not something that you want to avoid by default. In fact, it shouldn't really even be a preference. It's something that you need to play with both colors and understand how it works. That's the end of it. Good luck if you're a London player, by the way. Yep, premature capture there. Bishop e7 or bishop b4 would have been the better moves. Now I anticipate either this or this. Against Ida, we're going to castle. Yep. An important thing to do in these positions is to not to rush d5, because although d5 is insufficiently covered by black, you really want to time this well so that it hits. And for that reason, we are going to first play a couple of developing moves such as rook e1. The story here is that the other issue here that white players often fall into as a trap is to develop this bishop to suboptimal squares. So for example here, I think, ironically, the best move I can think of for white is a3. And the idea is that after b6 we have d5, ed, knight d, knight d, queen d, bishop b7 and queen h5. Yeah. And the purpose of a3 is twofold. A, it allows the bishop to come back to a2 or b3, whichever is needed. But b, equally importantly, we deny this knight b4, knight d5 blockading process. Very good. So now a6 is coming, which means that when I retreat the bishop, that's when b5 is going to hit, and then d5 is going to be particularly powerful because the knight is going to be loose on c6. So now d5, ed, knight d, knight d, queen d, bishop d is winning a piece. So ed, knight d, knight d, queen d is when they have to play a different move rather than trading the queen. Bishop b7 is most common, and that's when we suddenly shift the queen to the king side to queen h5. And then with the bishop looking down here, knight g5 incoming, it's gonna be a deadly attack. I think Larsen against Kasparov played in a similar scenario once, bishop b7, allowing the other bishop to be captured, but that wasn't a pretty end either. Yeah, if they take, that's over, right? Because after bishop d5, the knight is hanging, and if they defend the knight, I take it, and then e7 falls out of the sky. So bishop b7 is more or less entirely forced here. And I'm pretty sure that queen h5 is the move. I have a vague recollection that I had a game or two that went like this, and I think that Black played something like queen d6 with queen g6 ideas to try to neutralize the obnoxious queen on h5. So one version where it can go really quick, really badly, really quickly is g6, queen h6, bishop f6. And then both knight g5 and bishop g5 are very unpleasant, but maybe knight g5 is the better one. And then bishop takes. And now the queen has to tag f6, otherwise bishop f6 is mate. So queen d6, then rook a d1. And that just looks terminal to me. Okay. So now either bishop g5 or knight g5. So if we go knight g5, that virtually forces capture. Then bishop takes back. But then after queen b6, it feels like black is alive. So what I would want to do is to play bishop g5 and then kick the queen, who then cannot guard this dude anymore, right? This feels very strong. I also recall like a game where my opponent played it 95, I think, which looks like an absolutely outlandish idea. And I think it was losing, but I don't remember to what. It's quite fascinating to try to recall past games of similar or identical positions, by the way, if you have the memory to do so. So the idea behind 95 is that if I take this, they take here. Yeah, but then f7 falls out of the sky, which is exactly how the game ended. Yeah, okay. So if bishop g5, then knight g5, and f7, h7 are under attack, and otherwise I'm bringing rook to d1 and attacking like a boss. Let's go back a little bit to see again what happened in the opening. So we played this very neat opening. By the way, the issue with moves like bishop f4 here, for example, is that they fall for knight d5, hitting them with a tempo. I don't want that. So if my opponent here plays something like knight d5, I would want to have various options open to me. One of them is to play knight e4 to dodge the threat altogether, or rather the trade, or just play something like, yeah, actually they did do knight d4, not knight e5, and I think knight e5 is the winning move here. Now I remember everything. Yeah, it wasn't knight d5, it was knight d4. By the way, 1700, dude is playing off his face. Like, this is crazy. I'm pretty sure it was knight e5, because if bishop g5, knight f7, then absolutely everything is hanging. Okay, so what is a move after knight e5? Bishop d5 perhaps? Bishop f6, queen f6, bishop d5, we win a piece. Knight e5, bishop d5, bishop fg, I mean, that should lose to a lot of things, right? Yeah, that feels completely dead lost. Knight e5, bishop g5, knight f7 is also dead lost. What if knight e5, g6? Knight takes g6? Bishop takes g5, knight f8. Oh, hello. Okay, let's go. Let's go. But I must say, the moves this dude is playing are off the charts for a 1700. It's insane. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I don't know. I really don't know. How do they stop now the threat on f7? We dealt with bishop d5. We've dealt with g6. Queen e7 is a move I didn't calculate, but it's because I didn't need to. We can still take f7. There is a discovery there. And let's have a look at g6 again. So knight g6. Obviously, pawn g6 loses to queen g6. You need to be aware of the pin on the f-pawn. Yeah, I think we are golden. I think we are golden. The least of the evils appeared to me to be this, but... yeah, okay, so bishop f6, gf. I can go check, king h8, and then take. If bishop a2, then I can take this. Rook takes back. And then knight c6, which hangs the rook. The bishop is still hanging. But then they have rook d6. Yeah, bishop d5 is a line that I can't find a forced win against just yet. I definitely know that I'm winning. And I have no doubt that I will find it. Take. Huh. Oh. Is that a possibility that after bishop d5 I have bishop f6, gf, knight g4, bishop a2, and queen h6? And they can't stop knight f6, queen h7 mate. Hello? Is that? Oh boy. That is cool. That is really, really cool. Wow, wowee. That is awesome. That is, folks, how you use your time. Or rather, your opponent's time when it is the opponent's time that is ticking. What happened with the I am Ondrash thought above my head? Is that gone? Huh. Where is this thing? Anyway, I need to fix it after. Bishop g5, I thought that was losing to this. Actually, bishop f7 is interesting too, by the way, because obviously king h8 is a mate, and rook takes queen f7 here, and queen here still floats knight here. Oh boy, I hate it when I find an alternative winning idea, because then I need to pick. So what is going to deal with knight takes? Oh, I understand. I understand. It doesn't matter what I take on f7 with, they have to take back. Because after knight f7, if the queen moves, I have got knight takes and then mate. So the only question we have is that after take here, do we want a knight on e5 or a bishop on a2? And my answer is we want a knight on e5, so it's bishop takes. Because then we are going to have this knight f7 quadruple threat. So take, king here, take, and then the knight f7 threat is on. Which means that my opponent has no time for these nasty fork shenanigans. Yeah, at times, yeah, time consumption was interesting on the opponent's part. Like, only the eagle move took 10 seconds, but I don't want to channel my inner Kramnik, so we're going to drop that. Now, queen f6 would be optimal to play, but of course this rook is hanging too. So I'm not quite sure if black has a way to get out of this pickle. by which I'm meaning to suggest that black does not have a way out of this pickle. Not to mention that an additional rook d1, queen e4 pile up on the knight is also looking very nasty. Yeah, I think this is resign worthy. This was a very, very cool game. But I vividly remember, I had a game like this on my other account, Chess Coach Andras, and I reckon that that would have been against someone around 22, 2300. Yeah, this is all Carnage City. So let's go back and see how this game went. So taking on c4 was very, very, very questionable. The two main moves here are bishop e7 and bishop b4. And against bishop e7, white usually takes. Knight takes back, and then there is a line there with bishop c4. So if you want to take a comparison, black could have this position with the knight on d5 and the bishop on e7. And it's their turn. So it's actually castles there. So yeah, I was given a fair few free tempi here, which obviously I gladly took. So castles, rook e1, very important, because when the d5 break comes, the rook on the e-file is golden. a3, like I explained, is important for the retreat square of the bishop, as well as denying this blockading process. And here after a6, I think we had multiple moves, but the prophylactic bishop a2, I think is best, so that after b5, we had a wide range of moves available. And of course d5 was very handy with this neat motif of hitting knight and then the swinging across. This is a difficult move that I think a lot of club players and lower rated players would fail to find, and they would resign themselves to a very unnecessary queen trade, bringing the rook in. Whereas now black is in very serious discomfort. What's really interesting to observe here is that although technically I'm behind in development because this hasn't moved yet, but these two are utterly useless. And so as a result of that, black is struggling. And that's also the reason why we can realistically create an attack on the king side, because all of our pieces are pointing toward the king side, even the rook. So we have got a noticeable majority, and we managed to milk it in a way that caused severe trouble. I still can't recover from the fact that knight e4 was found by black here. Like, yeah, crazy stuff. By the way, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it is losing. I was thinking about a line with h6, rook a d1, and then just giving up the queen with hg, rook d8, rook d8. And that would be quite a tenacious defense if it weren't for the fact that we can win the pawn on g5. So yeah, knight d4, shout out to my opponent for finding that. And knight e5, I vaguely remembered this. I in fact thought that it was knight e5, but of course it wasn't, it was knight d4. But the finish is the same. I don't know if he's just being an appalling sport or what's happening, but he has been sitting on this position forever now, and I'm trying to fill the void big time by trying to say meaningful things, but it's not so easy. Oh, fair enough. I expected this. And that's where I told you Rook D1, Queen E4 looks absolutely deadly. As does, by the way, Knight F7, right? Because it's not so easy for the Queen to defend the Rook and the Bishop at the same time. But since I'm a man of... a man of what exactly? I was gonna go with high ethics and morals and chess principle. Ooh, okay, I know what's cooking here. This guy wanna sell some knight e2 shenanigans. Except they don't do anything if I go king here, right? Yeah. So yeah, we are going to claim the moral high ground and complete development, because we are those types of peeps who love their pieces active. Knight f7 would have won the game as well. Now we are threatening to take, because this is on. We are anticipating rook b8. And then after queen e4, we are anticipating resignation. The plan B is that we anticipate knight e2, and after king f1 or king h1, resignation. Right on. It's always good to be tactically aware. I always tell you this. So missing checks like this is never a good thing. Yep. When you literally have one job, which is to not to lose the stupid knight moves and checks. I can't really explain why, but this feels more right than this. And this is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, when our opponent is going to put the arms down and surrender. Let's see if my prediction prowess is still on point. I've got a whole lot of 40 seconds to see it. Flawless victory, I dare say. There is very, very, very little left for me to analyze in this game, mostly because I analyzed it for you while we were in it. Can we get a game review, and is that going to match? No. Oh boy, I'm so smart. I have made this mistake so many times already. No. Let me fix it for you quick, guys. Okay. And done. All right, 98.3, ladies and gentlemen, is what we got, and 84.6 from a 1700 who played a guy who played 98. So the reason why I'm saying it like this is because 84 is a meh score. It can be acceptable, it can be pretty meh. But remember that this is measured to the strength of the opponent. And I'm not meaning to suggest that I played well, but I did play well in this game. So this dude played off the charts well for his rating, is what I'm trying to suggest. A3 best, bishop A2 best, D5 best. So yeah, I knew that there was something cooking here. Rook A7 is best here. And then after bishop E3, rook D7, knight takes E7, white enjoys a pleasant edge due to the 2 bishops. So knight d5 was the mistake, and now it's all downhill. Queen h5, great. Bishop g5, best. And knight e5, in fact, was a brilliance, apparently. But I kind of remembered all of this. So, yeah. Bishop takes was better than knight. Actually, I'm wondering how much better it is. Yeah, one is about 5-8 and the other one is 4-6. So noticeably. And no, the engine prefers king h1. Boo. Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It does not actually prefer. But one is, you know, 6. The other is half a dozen, really. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you need to play IQP. Because it's a fun structure. It's about attack. It's about aggression. It's about playing the potentially most frequently occurring pawn structure ever in chess. And so with that, guys, in mind, all I have left is to remind you, please, to sub, to like, to thank, sorry, to, what is it, like, sub, yeah, that's it, to, and leave a comment down below. Yeah, that's it, and super thank me as well if you can. And with that, we are calling it a day. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.